Hello, hello, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. I hope it's a good insert your time here or insert whatever you want here. It's your choice. Welcome, welcome to another edition of AIMBOT. I morally bankrupt or them? It's a question. It's the question. It's the question for today. But it's very good to see you. I've got this custom layout done the other day, and I kind of like it, so I'm going to be using it. I hope it isn't sort of, I hope it doesn't make you anxious. I don't want you to be anxious. Let's be settled and calm. I don't really have anything. I usually have a bit of news or something to comment on. Didn't really do that today. I kind of just I was really waiting for video back from the Kentucky ARC protest from the Kentucky Atheist or anybody else really. I didn't really see a lot. Bad Science Sunday I appeared on very, very, very recently, and though I might, Ember does have a protest speech that I can access. Let's see how long that is. So this is my fantastic friend Ember. And I might just watch a little bit of this, maybe comment a little before I start, because I really want to show some stuff about it. So it's all fantastic. The answer is 42. Yes. And so some call outs. Good to see you. Left-handed Jedi, my favorite handed Jedi. Majestic Beck, you are first. You are first. You might not stay that way depending on how, the algorithm does this first second. Look, I don't even know how the ranking system works. I think it is the amount that you chat. I'm not 100% sure. I think it might be the amount that you chat and the amount that you I think super chats can do something, or look, I don't know. I haven't investigated. Um I think I might just. I haven't also typed up the things that I usually use, so I might do that quickly. But I hope you're all well out there. I don't know. I saw a speech on Bad Science Sunday from Secular Rarity, who is um, who is a fantastic person, a fantastic orator. He did a speech, and it was inspiring. It was fantastic. It was awesome. It was emotional. I haven't seen Embers. I've only seen it there now. But I think that everybody was on sort of the same page as we've got to stop this descent towards not having the freedom to say and think and reject religion or accept religion. I think that in general people feel like their autonomy is being taken away, and I completely understand why that is. When you're sort of being told that you can't have you've gone through all the processes, say, of entering a country, and you have that stripped away from you, it seems really unfair. Mm. It was a phenomenal speech. And hello, Tori. Good to see you. Hello, Billy. Bit bummed haven't delivered recently. You and me both, my friend. You and me both. Look, the last one. So just to let you know, the one with Andrew Wilson definitely was not MDD's fault. Okay, that absolutely was not MDD's fault. That had nothing to do with it. Wilson, set it up. We agreed on it. It was all set up. I was waiting, and apparently just before it, he sort of sent an email through saying, "Yeah, I'm not showing up because I'm too tired or something." And it's like, that is, I don't even know what to say to that. Like, I have no idea. Like, when you've scheduled an appointment with somebody, and then everything's set up, and just before it you go, "Nah, I'm not showing up." That's just unprofessional. It is absolutely terrible behavior. But there's nothing MDD could have done about that. I there's nothing they could have done. There's nothing James could have done about that. It's just, he got good. Now, the one with Alex that was supposed to be the other day. That was James's fault. He mucked up the times between the two of us and scheduled it at the wrong time. Look, I get that it's a screw up. Accidents do happen. I've scheduled streams at the wrong time. Usually MDD is really good. My experience of them has been really good. This is the first time he's ever sort of let me down like that. And people do make mistakes. So I totally understand what you're saying, Billy. I think that MDD, yeah, um, you know, I think so. I watched him recently, or I watched part of it recently, because it's hard to watch, mate. It is really hard to watch somebody have no decent arguments, and doesn't expound on what they say. He just interrupts. That's all he does. It is a sort of, I mean, I would say tried and true, but really tried and false way of debating, that you just don't let the other person speak. I mean, flat earthers do all the time. They just interrupt everything you've got to say and do not actually let you get a point out. And that's his entire thing. That's all that he does. He asks questions, people try to answer it, and then he interrupts them. It's pretty grotesque, but Uh, so what I'll do is I'll get up. Now I haven't seen this before, so this is new to me as well. This probably came out while I was asleep, I would imagine. A month ago, Kip had a birthday stream. Oh. I wasn't invited to that. I didn't even know about that. That's terrible. I would have liked to be at the birthday stream. I would like to be. Maybe it was on at a weird time. That happens to me occasionally. Um, yeah. Look, modern day debate has a reputation of being late. Like it'll start late, but usually that is one person unprepared. Um, no, it's not scheduled yet. No, it's not scheduled yet. Although I'm keen to schedule it. So I tell you what, Deviant, I'll shoot an email out just for you. Just for you. I will shoot an email out this afternoon, or whenever this ends, and I will ask for another time. Couple of shout outs. Jessica, the Transmetal Alchemist, so good to see you. Tori, I've already said hello to. Deviant, so good to see you. Your mid-hardcore tangent nerding down in Egyptian gods, stalling what's now two okay, yeah, gotcha. There you go. Hey, I did have a question for you. Is it Thoth or Thoth? How do you pronounce the Egyptian, god of wisdom? Is it Thoth or Thoth? You would be proud of me. I was on um Bad Science Sunday, and they showed a ibis-headed god, and but wouldn't say guessed. I had an educated guess that was Thoth, and apparently I was right, but we didn't know the pronunciation, so I thought I'd ask you: is it pronounced Thoth or Thoth or none of the above? You don't have to answer. I can probably look it up, but Toth. You thought it was Toth. Okay. That is true. They can't even just from time zones. Yes, that is 100% true. Um, so I wanna share this. I can counter protest speech. Yeah.
Friends, allies, defenders of reason, we gather today not to oppose faith, but to oppose fraud, not to silence religion, but to stop its weaponization against the common good. When the creationist ministry violates tax law to impose a dogmatic conspiracy theory in place of science, it's not just a legal crime, it's moral theft. They steal from students the right to ask questions.
Whoa. Okay. And I just realized as I'm doing this. Look, go over, watch Ember's speech. I'll put the thing out, because I really do want to give her the views for it. So that is such a good start. It's not. It's a moral theft. But I don't want to take things away from Ems because Ems is amazing. But yeah, go over and see it. If you're not a member, you might not be able to see it yet. It'll definitely come out, and I wanna, Ember's been doing so well, and I'm sure it's just amazing. I'm sure it's just amazing. But yeah, so go and watch it. There's a teaser for you. I haven't found anybody else's speeches, but that's totally understandable. It was a big thing, and people are probably still getting set up and stuff. Oh, I've resorted back to this one, have I? No, no. There we go. But yeah, I do apologize. I just thought then, like, I'm not. If I take views away from Ember, I'm really doing her a disservice. Oh. Oh, okay. Happy birthday, Tori. No, look, it's your birthday wherever you're celebrating it, to be honest with you. Look, it gets confusing, doesn't it? Because when I say, like, when it's the 13th of October, here, and I'm saying, "Oh, it's my birthday today," that is not true for you guys because it's the 12th for you guys. So it gets really weird, and this is why one of the things that we talk about with truth is that it's context dependent. I'd say the first attempt. Okay, so it is Thoth. All right, that's 2 for 2. It's spelt Thoth in English, and most pronounce it like did, but really it's Djibouti. Yeah, there's probably a reason we don't pronounce it. Like that's the thing. Like when somebody says it is raining, that may be true for one person and not true for another. So we know that truth is context dependent, but that doesn't mean that something categorically untrue is true in any sense of the word. Yeah, happy birthday! Everyone, give a big birthday shout out for Tori. Awesome. But yeah, and I wanna sort of um seeing everybody at the ARC thing and at BajaCon and at all of these things, it makes me feel a little distant. And I know I don't have to feel like that. I know that that is just I don't know. I feel very distant, but that's probably because I am. I am very, very distant, and that's okay. That's all right. I'm allowed to be distant, but I it's not like I'm jealous. I just really wish I could go to these things. I really do. I suppose that the alternative would be to start up things in my own area. Start up things. But yeah, I really appreciate everybody going and protesting that horrible, monstrous atrocity of a pseudo scientific museum because they try to say it's a museum. It's not a museum. There's no science in there. There's no, it is a religious institution to peddle their religious bias. Basically, it's horrible. It's absolutely horrible. I don't see why anybody should allow this thing to be counted as a museum. Kentucky should be ashamed of themselves. But anyway, let's get started on the aimbot. So I didn't really have anything. I suppose lately I've been heading up and going, okay, what has Trump done today? So it's very strange what is going on. And I'm not a conspiracy theory kind of guy, right? You know this. I'm not somebody that goes, okay, well, it's conspiracy theory. Um, it's just very odd that Trump wants to get so far past the Epstein stuff. He wants to drop it. Like he doesn't want to talk about it at all. He had a video sort of saying, "Oh, are you still talking about Epstein?" It's like, yeah, like cases that are so egregious, abuse of underage people. Yeah, we have a tendency to talk about that for a while. It's one of those things, like he's so, oh, can't you just get over it? It's just like, dude, here's the thing. Here's the thing. Pam Bondi said she had, the client list on her desk. Now, look, she may have been talking about other papers and referred to them as such. She may have been talking about, I don't know. I don't know. But the thing that amazes me is that they've acknowledged that they have like lots of camera footage and things like that, which is awful and terrible. And I understand why, to protect the victims, they don't want to release that. Totally get it. 100% get it. Like, protect the victims first and foremost. Totally get it. But what I don't understand is how sort of nobody has been charged at all, or any names released of people that were involved. Because obviously they, if they say they have footage of this, quite frankly, disgusting stuff, then they must have footage of, perpetrators, people that used Epstein and Maxwell Ghislaine or Ghislaine Maxwell, I don't remember her name, but anyway, that other person used this. Like, how did they not find one person in all of this? I have no no idea. No idea. That is 100% true. Fran's complaining how she's living at the back end of the world and just wants to swim to India. Look, it's a blessing and a curse. Like, it really is. Like, being in Perth is like being a million miles away from anywhere. Like, at least if you're in Melbourne, you're in Sydney, you can go from one to the other. Perth, no, nope, no. It is so far away from anywhere. So far away from anywhere. I mean, you could possibly do it. It is possible. You could swim up north and then round it. Don't ask. It is possible. Yeah, Djibouti. Yeah, I agree. Robbing the victim of justice. Absolutely, I agree. Well, I don't know, Beck. It's very strange. I don't know. I couldn't say. I'm not one to get into sort of you know me. I'm not one to, like, but I think that the inability, like, to acknowledge that there is footage of crimes being committed, but not be able to even identify anybody involved except for the victims, that seems a bit weird, considering they have flight logs, they have call logs, they have all of that kind of stuff. Like, are you telling me that they can't um they can't uh put two and two together and go through the call logs and flight logs and find out who's on the camera? Like, I find that hard to believe, but that is a concern of mine. I'm not certainly saying that there's a conspiracy. It's weird. Maybe they will do it in the future. I don't know, but it's very strange. Everything is just strange around that. I have no idea. But what is suspicious is Trump sort of saying, "Hey, let's just move on from it." What? It's like a heinous crime. A heinous crime. Like, let's not just move. Let's do something. Like, seriously, we don't just move on from stuff like that. It's wild. It's absolutely wild saying, haven't you moved on? Well, no. Mm. Well, yeah, it's pretty horrible. Pretty horrible. But I will get into AIMBOT. Let's go. Let's freaking go. Now, what are we doing with AIMBOT? We're going to Reddit and Am I the Asshole? We are looking up ordinary situations and trying to apply some moral judgment on them. Now, before you get started, this judgment is consensual and it is solicited. So people have put stuff on here in order for people to make moral distinctions between who is good and who is bad. I've never seen these before. These have not been selected, curated, or organized in any way besides whichever one comes first. I love to hear your opinion, and not just sort of who is right and wrong, but why they're right and wrong is really good as well. So please join me for an amble down judgment lane, I guess. I don't know. Well, I mean, he always has left-handed Jedi. He always has. That this is the thing. This isn't a new thing. It's just all of these MAGA people are melting down because he won't release the client list and the files that he promised. And it's like, from my point of view, I'm like, oh, you're actually surprised he lied to you. That's cute. That's cute. That is 100% right. Like, to us, like him lying is like, yeah, it's just another Wednesday. To them, it's like, oh, he lied to us. Yeah. Haven't you noticed? Haven't you noticed that? Oh, hey, Holly. Good to see you. So, first off the block, temporary effect says, am I the arsehole for donating my roommate's family heirloom to Goodwill? Yeah, kind of. Yeah, I would say so. If she's got a family heirloom, it's probably pretty important to them. So what? Donating it to Goodwill. Okay, I would be upset if like there was something of my mother's that she gave me before she died. Yeah, I would be upset. Sure. Just from what I can read on the screen, it looks like an ETA situation. Well, maybe, but hey, let's find out. I've 22 female, posted here about my roommate 24 female before. She had always issues contributing to the household, including buying things like toilet paper, dish soap, laundry detergent, etc. She rarely does her dishes promptly or take out the trash or other household chores, and she struggles to pay utilities on time. Sometimes I even have to hound her for the rent. I felt bad at first because clearly she wasn't equipped to live alone, but I quickly got frustrated and became short with her. We were friends at first, but not so much anymore after I have had to put up with her for this long. Our year-long lease ended and we have been living month to month since then. Eventually, she got a boyfriend. She lives with his parents, but that hasn't stopped her from spending most of her time at their house. I started to see her less and less. A couple of days into May, I haven't seen her for maybe 2 weeks. I texted and called her to see when she was going to pay her share of the rent, due on the 5th. But she basically ghosted me. Yeah, that's not cool. That's not cool. I got in contact with her mum, and eventually my roommate reached out to say she's staying with her boyfriend's family for now and doesn't think she should be expected to pay rent from somewhere for someone she's not staying. No. You either move out or you don't. Like, you don't just go, okay, well, I'm staying over my boyfriend, so I'm not going to handle the rent. No. I paid rent myself, which was a huge unexpected expense. After that, I decided I was done. I texted her over the course of May and June asking to move her stuff out, but she didn't respond to me. Her mum kept promising me that her daughter would take care of it, but she never once got back to me. After July, hang on, how long is this? After July, I recruited a couple of friends to help me pack up the stuff in her room and donated most of it to Goodwill and the Salvation Army. I also asked the landlord to change the locks, which he did. Well, yeah, I mean, this is weird. If this is a lease, then there should be names on the lease, and people do have rights. So, if you are subletting, or are your names all on the list? This is the problem with living with people. I'm not sure how this is working because, so rented places in my neck of the woods in Australia, basically, if you rent the place and then collect either board or rent off somebody else, then you're subletting, and it usually isn't allowed. Usually, when you rent, you will rent with all of your names on the lease. So you can't just say, hey, leave and don't come back. You would have to, take some sort of action through say the tenancy board, or through the real estate who you're leasing through, to say, hey, they're not paying the rent, they need to leave, and kind of take it, go away. After July, to recruit a couple of friends, and change the locks. The other evening, she finally shows up and is mad the locks have been changed. I told her she's not living here and doesn't pay rent, so she has no reason to enter the apartment. She got even more upset and said that she was never moving out. She was just staying with him for the time being. Wow, this is terrible. She told me the situation didn't work out, so she planned to come back and live here again. I told her that she was already off the lease and it's my rental now. Okay, so she went through the process of getting her off the lease. Okay. She started crying and said she had nowhere else to go, and I felt really bad. She asked if she could at least get some of her stuff. She needed clean clothes and a shower. I told her because she never told me she was coming back or made plans to move her stuff out. I donate everything that was in her room unless it looked pressure expensive and stored the rest in her closet. She was completely freaked out and threatened to call the police on me. She was inconsolable. She cried about how I donated her dead grandmother's wedding dress, which had been in a special box somewhere in her room. I apologized profusely because I did feel like bad, but it could have been avoided if she had tried to communicate with me. Am I the asshole? Okay, an edit. I told her by July I would start getting rid of things if she didn't make plans to do it herself. Where I live, a unit is considered abandoned once they vacate and owe rent. The cost of the items being donated will determine how long I need to store them before getting rid of them. I asked her to make arrangements for a thing beginning in early May, which she ignored. I emphasized in June I'd be donating her things by July, which she also ignored. Additionally, her mother was aware the whole time and promised me her daughter would take care of it by June 30th, which she didn't. Yeah, so with this one, I know it might be contentious, but I'm actually leaning towards not the arsehole. It's not like she knew it was like, so when it said donated family heirloom to Goodwill, I thought it meant like on purpose. Like, so if you're in a place and you're sharing rent with somebody, what amazes me is that she hasn't got someone else in to cover the rent. You know what I mean? Like when you're renting a place and you're relying on two people paying the rent, then you know then it has to be like if somebody isn't paying it, then you need someone who can. Like this isn't screwing around. Like if you need to cover the rent and you are in a really a situation where you need another person to pay the rent, you can't screw around being a self-storage place for somebody else who's not paying rent. Like this is the thing, you can't do that. This isn't a charity over here. She needs to pay the rent. And if she wants to have a place and her stuff stored, she needs to pay the rent. Now, if you're talking about, in May, she's not paying the rent and she like got rid of it in July, that's 2 months later. Like that is more than enough time to take care of your stuff. It's more than enough time. I'm amazed she held on to the rest of it. You know, like I'm amazed she held on to the rest of it. I think that I don't think she is. I think that she gave sufficient warning. She got her removed from the lease, and she gave her sufficient time to come back and get her stuff. I don't think she was, and it's not like she did it purposely. It's just when you've got a rent to pay, you need another person to pay it, and then they just ghost you. What the hell else are you supposed to do? You've got to get somebody in, and you can't do it with their crap there. What are you going to do? You have to be responsible for your own stuff, and you can't just like. And here's the thing that gets me: you can't just walk away from a place, not pay rent, and expect to come back. That is ridiculous. That's ridiculous. And I think personally, I think she did a good enough job over 2 months trying to get her to either, hey, pay the rent or vacate the place. That's the options. You can't have your stuff there and not pay rent. Like that just it doesn't that's not a thing. Yeah, I really think that is the case. But I will put the poll up, so wait for my poll. Everybody loves my polls. Everybody. And I won't hear any differently. If I was more organized, I think I would be able to do this faster. I think that if she knew it was a family heirloom, it may be a little bit different. It might be vindictive kind of thing. I get, that hey, if she donated something she knew she wanted, then it would be vindictive, but it wasn't. It was just a, hey, I've got to get rid of all of this crap. I'll keep the stuff that seems important and get rid of, what I can, because I've got to clear the space out. Was the poster right for donating renters or what's it called? What is it called? Roommates stuff. Stuff. And I mean, if she just said, "Hey, I have to organize something. I will have it out by X date." If she communicated, she could have just, sort of said, "Hey, I don't have a place to put it right now. I can I have another month, right?" And if she can't store it at her boyfriend's place or whatever, you might have to get some self storage. Like, I'm really sorry, but that's the reality of the situation. Um, I yeah, I don't know. I don't know how else you're supposed to handle that. And it is, at first I thought, oh, she just tossed her out and, she's still on the lease. No, she got her off the lease. So obviously she's the primary person. She said, hey, she isn't paying her rent and gone with the, whoever's handling it, the owner, real estate agent, whoever's handling it. She's now MIA and has not covered her side of the rent. They took her off the lease. She's probably going to get somebody else on the lease. They're going to pay the rent and they keep going because that's what needs to happen. Look, with things like finances and rent, there's no fucking around, right? Like, that is a life or death thing. You can't screw around with that stuff. And I'm amazed at the sheer lack of consideration of this housemate that goes, well, I'll just leave, stay at my boyfriend's place, not pay the rent, and expect this poor person to keep hold of all of my stuff and keep my room reserved for me when I deign it appropriate to come back. Look, honey, that is not how the world works. That is not how the world works. Pay the rent or get your stuff. Like, seriously. Let's see what the Redditors have to say. Kathy, over and out. After reading OP's responses, I did see that she indeed tell her roommate in a text that if she did not hear from her soon, she would start getting rid of her stuff. With that in mind, I really don't see what more could have been done here. Yeah, exactly. Exactly how much is a person expected to do when the other party simply ghosts them? Yeah, I don't know. I think that 2 months or so, like, a month, a couple of weeks is enough for me to say, "Hey, you haven't got back to me in a couple of weeks. I am, assuming you're not gonna come back to me." Sure. Really, it's not fair to continue rewarding such egregious behavior. OP had to pay her share of the rent, for fuck's sake. Where is the outrage about that? I'd be furious if I had to pay for somebody else's rent. Then she just shows up and expects to be let back in. I wouldn't have even have talked to her until she paid me for her share of the rent. OP isn't running a charity house or a storage unit. Yeah, storage unit. Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, absolutely. It's rent. You signed a legal document. The roommate, in essence, told OP to hell with your money. Well, then to hell with your belongings. That seems eminently fair to me. I don't bestow kindness on those who treat me like dirt, not the arsehole. Yeah, I kind of agree. And it's unfortunate that something she wanted got caught up, but that's not the OP's problem. Oh, yeah, okay. Woof. Okay. Snacking Penguin. Oh, wow. I like that username. Snacking Penguin says she can't have it both ways in a month-to-month situation. Not live there so she doesn't pay rent, but then demand access to the stuff because she lives there without having paid for rent storage fees for these months. Sounds like she was playing house and keen to ignore your Debbie Downer texts about her real-life situation, but this started in May. This is on her, not the arsehole. Yeah, I agree. I agree. Not the other. Once she skipped out on May rent, it was clear her intention on not paying her rent was because she was not staying there, making it clear she's no longer your roommate. She now has 30 days from that date to get her stuff out. You are not a storage facility. You gave her 60 days to get her stuff, and she did not. She had 60 days to get her belongings. She is expected to lay low, skip out on 3 months of rent, and just come back like MBD. I don't know what that means. No big deal? No big deal. I bet it's no big deal. I'm going to go for no big deal. And we all know she was never going to get back to her for her share of May, June, or July rent. She can kick rocks. Not the arsehole. She literally and legally abandoned her belongings. You got rid of these things she treated as if she didn't want to claim them. You are not a free storage facility for anyone. You did nothing wrong and have nothing in which to apologize or feel guilty or responsible. Hope this girl learns from the mistake. Yeah, probably not. Probably not. Probably not. You know, yeah. Probably not. I don't see that they've done anything wrong at all, but, you know. Let's see what you beautiful people have to say. Yeah, no, I get you, aren't you? I get you, but I don't think so. You know, that's why just reading the first thing is you know, I mean, sometimes you do get a good feel on it. I got you, I do. Beck says right off the bat, arsehole with this one. Yeah, I'm getting that. As soon as it started rambling, I'm like, wow, okay, 60 days. Yeah, you have no leg to stand on. Seriously. Jedi says that's a way over the top reaction. I think those actions would be illegal in Canada. What? Which one? Oh, selling off personal belongings. I don't know. I mean, like, what? Like, the fact that she didn't sell them off, that she donated them to charity. I mean, what's the difference between selling them off and chucking them on the lawn, kind of thing? You know what I mean? Like, I don't see why you would have to hold on to somebody's stuff. I mean, you could just toss it on the front verge and let people just take what they want, but you could also just, you know, throw it to charity, and that would probably be better. So I don't know. I I don't think it'd be illegal here if somebody left you in the lurch with, you know, for 2 months with stuff in your house. I think at that point, yeah, it's abandoned, you know, especially if you've been making a concerted effort to try and contact them and collect it and they're just ignoring you. You know, at that point, it's really just abandoned. Aunt Jo says, my brother did this to me. We were living together in an apartment and he moved temporarily out of town to plan a wedding with his fiance, but leaving me with all the expenses. Yeah, that's not cool, Jo. That's not cool. That's absolutely not cool. Hey, Andrew. I didn't see you there, Andrew. Hello. Hello, hello, hello. Hello. Deviant said, I'd go bananas if someone did that. I have some very valuable heirlooms, literally one of a kind, that I treasure very much. Not for their monetary value, but for their emotional value. Yeah, but those things you probably wouldn't leave in a place that you're not paying rent at, you know, Deviant. You'd probably, if somebody said to come and collect them, or else they're going to, you know, give them to charity in the next month, you would probably go and pick them up at that point. I mean, I don't know, you know. I don't know if it's different if they're going month to month. Well, I doubt it. I mean, I don't know. I doubt it. Deviant Outcast says, seems everyone is kind of assholery in this one. Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think the person who has rent to pay is actually being an asshole. I think they're just, you know, I don't think so. I think that they are dealing with somebody who, you know, I think they're pretty reasonable. If they got contacted back and the person said, look, I'm going to pick things up in a month, I think they would have been fine with it. It's the fact that I didn't hear from them for 2 months. That is a long time. And that is a lot of rent that the person's not paying. If it was me and I was in that place, I'd be like, you got to get your stuff out so I can get somebody else in. You know? Jessica says, "Oh boy, there's a lot of things to consider here." Yeah. Tori Swansiger says, "Poster is definitely not the asshole." Okay. Left-handed Jedi says she didn't do it out of spite. Yeah, it wasn't vindictive. Yeah, she didn't do it to hurt the other person. She did it because she needs the space to have somebody move in. She needs to cover that rent. I get you. Billy J36 says, "Not the asshole. She assumes people will pay her portion of the rent and hold the space for her. No contact. Nah, honey. Lol. Yeah, that is true. Archer concedes. Okay, that's not the asshole. Yeah, no, I got you. I get that from the person whose stuff got I get it's really upsetting for them, but I don't see anything else the poster could have done to facilitate what they needed to happen so that they could pay the rent. Like I don't see anything else they could have done. I mean, I'm open to suggestions, but if somebody won't reply to you, you contact their mum and they still won't reply to you. At that point, I have no idea what else you're supposed to do. Holly says, sounds like OP went through a lot of effort to try and work with the roommate. Yeah, it does. It does. And considering that most of the time these posts, like the problems come down to a lack of communication. And so, with this one, you can go, well, one side was lacking communication and the other one wasn't. Like the poster was trying to communicate and find out what was going on. I don't think that, she was really trying. The other person was not. So I feel like, yeah. Jessica, the Transmill Alchemist, says, from a tactical point of view, it would have been better to keep the belongings so that you have a bargaining chip and you can use that to ask her to do something for you, such as rent compensation. Yeah, I get that. I get that. But I think that, at certain points in your life, I mean, I've eaten a loss before just to sort of get people out of my life. Sometimes it's not worth sort of getting into further arguments with people if you can just say, look, get your shit and go, get out of my life. Like, I don't, pursuing them for this stuff may cause a further entanglement with people you just want to see go. So I totally understand that. And I get that if she did want to do that, yes, it would have been better to keep their stuff. But, at the end of the day, it is sometimes better just to go, look, I've had a loss, but I do not want anything to do with these people. Just take your stuff and go. Left-handed Jedi said she didn't sell anything. She donated it. Trivial maybe, but you can't hold on to stuff forever. Not the arsehole. Yeah. Yeah. Majestic Beck says, sounds like the case of the house rent blues. Look, I've been stiffed on rent before. My cousin stiffed me while we were living at a place. I got off the lease and left because if you can't rely on somebody for rent, you can't live with them. I will not live my life, wondering whether I'm going to be evicted or not. Like there's no frigging way. I refuse to spend my life like that. So basically, we had the rent sort of put it together. We're going to go down and pay it, and he basically stole from it. So yeah, and that was my cousin. So I was very unhappy, very unhappy. Deviant says, yeah, given the actions taken by the poster, even contacting the mum, telling her what's going on in the room, he still doesn't send a text. I've changed my mind. I've changed me mind. Sound like a pirate Deviant. I wonder what Egyptian pirate Deviant outcast would look like. Poster not the arsehole, Rumi the arsehole. Yeah, I agree. Majestic says not the arsehole. Billy says OP even second guessing herself says she's a good homie. Easy, not the arsehole. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Even some of the worst people second guess themselves, kind of thing. Like you have someone here saying, "Hey, I did this atrocity. Am I the arsehole?" And everyone's like, "Yes, absolutely, you are." Left-handed Jedi says most folk don't have a lot of leeway when it comes to rent utility. Well, yeah, exactly. It's because they're kind of necessary to live. Friday came, I didn't have the rest, so out the door I went. Rent, yeah, gotcha. Jessica says laws are very different in different places. Of general need to consent to have your name removed from a lease. You need to be completely MIA for your name to be removed without your consent. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know whether it is different over there or not. I don't know. Oh, that was what they were going month to month, so it might be a little different. Yeah, gotcha. Um, Jessica says, or someone may be the primary person and may be able to remove somebody from the lease. It might be the case with certain constrictions or constraints. Like it might take 2 weeks to remove them, but that is what they can do. I don't know. Jessica says, I once had a housemate announce he was moving out 1 week before rent day rather than the customary 4 weeks. It wasn't naturally not possible to find a replacement. It wasn't naturally not possible to find a replacement housemate. Well, it wouldn't be possible, right? Yeah, gotcha. It was naturally not possible. Yeah, gotcha. Pound sand. You prefer pound sand? Okay. Well, I mean, maybe they live in the mountains. I don't know. I don't know. Comments look early. Full context. Yeah. The way that it was typed up on the initial screen made it look like they were just being a jerk and selling their belongings. I totally understand. Yeah. A landlord in Canada is required to put personal belongings in storage, as her roommates all fair, I guess. Okay. No, that's fair. Selling personal belongings would be but theft and unjust enrichment. But selling garbage you find lying in the street is perfectly legal. Abandoned belongings are legally garbage. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Oh, it's fine. It's totally fine. That's why we read it, and it's okay to change your mind. That's totally cool. Look, this is the thing. Like, there's sort of a stigma about going, "Hey, I made initially, I thought this, and now I've changed my mind." I think that's totally fine. There's a stigma about it, and that's why we have people like doubling down on the dumbest crap. That's why we have a whole bunch of MAGA people who are like, "Oh, Trump is still the best," contrary to all evidence they see in front of them. Why double down? I'm with you, Deviant. All good. Deviant adds, Vikings were pirates of sorts. Well, that is true. That is true. Egyptian Viking shield maiden 8 feet tall with a glorious beard in reality, but everyone seems like a beardless 5'2" blonde. Yeah, if you trust your lying eyes, those lying eyes. Yeah, Poster is fantastic. Yeah, I think Poster went above and beyond to let them know. I think their moral obligation has definitely been satisfied, quite frankly. It's probably more than I would have done. I think in stuff like rent and things, I really think somebody going and crashing for at their boyfriends or whatever, then refusing to say whether they're moving out is just obnoxious. I wouldn't. I think the poster was less of an asshole than I would be. So yeah, I think that's the case. And boop. Next one, organic wind. Organic wind. Okay, that's suspicious. 2276 Aqua. Am I the arsehole for telling my husband to choose between me and his smart home obsession? Smart home obsession? What's wrong with a smart home? Uh, um, okay, that's weird. An obsession. Um, okay. I mean, a smart home is just one that is wired up with some sort of connectivity, like networking, that has integrated circuits doing certain things all over the place. I don't see the problem there. I mean, if it's causing you disruption, then yeah. But so ultimatums are usually only wrong, always wrong. Okay. Because you're basically saying, hey, if you don't do what I want, I am going to sink our relationship, or I am going to leave you, or I am going to do this. You can put boundaries in place and say, hey, it makes me feel. I mean, I don't know how the person feels, but I think laying down an ultimatum over somebody wanting to um, improve your home is a bit of an extreme thing to say. Okay, I, 33 female, have been married to Alex for 5 years. He was always into tech, which is fine. The last couple of years have gotten out of control with his obsession with making our house smart. Okay, I don't see the problem there. It started innocently with some smart bulbs. Innocently. I love tech and I love networking. I don't see the problem. It started innocently with some smart bulbs and a video doorbell, but now everything in our house needs an app or voice command to work. Every door has a smart lock, every window has smart blinds, every outlet has a smart switch. There are smart sensors on all faucets, and he even got a smart toilet. Is this a thing? A smart toilet? I can't figure out how to flush without my phone. I'm way past asking. Why are you past asking? Look, I understand this. Okay. I didn't know that they had smart toilets. Is this a thing? They look just like Japanese, like the toilets in Japan. Wow, this smart toilet is like 20 grand. That is excessive. They look like Japanese ones, to be honest with you. Surely there's a way to flush it without sort of, okay, this toilet says it's wall hung, and I 100% read it as well hung. I was like, wow, okay, this toilet sounds like a porn star. Uh, Vitreous china rimless well hung smart toilet with a horizontal outlet. That would have been hilarious. Um, yeah, I don't know. They seem just like Japanese ones, to be honest with you. Japan's ahead of the game when it comes to smart systems, so uh, air temperature, self cleaning. I I like, are you complaining about a self-cleaning toilet? Because that sounds amazing to me. That sounds absolutely incredible to me. Like, I realize you'd probably have to clean a little bit, but, like, come on now. Self-cleaning toilet? I would kill for a self-cleaning toilet. I Yeah. Yeah, Japanese ones, usually they have, like, a little remote thing on the side of the wall, and then you just click whatever you need to do. Like, I mean, yeah, it's not normal sort of flushing, but it's not like impossible. It's not like the puzzle of the ancients or something. It's not like decoding the Rosetta Stone, for Christ's sake. Like, it's not that bad. Like, I think they're over exaggerating just how bad it is. Oh, this one's got anal cleaning. Hang on a sec, I've got to show you this. So this reminds me of like the one on the left reminds me of like this is the so here we go. In wash, vitreous china. I thought it said well hung, and I laughed. I laughed. Needs power supply. Okay, well I'd imagine so. I mean, I would imagine so. It's got anal cleaning. Yeah. So okay, if that didn't have the, I'm glad they included a picture, right? Because I wouldn't know when they said anal cleaning whether they meant like it cleans your anus or whether it was like anal retentive cleaning, like when someone's anal about cleaning, you know what I mean? So I'm glad they included a picture so I knew which one they were talking about. Oh, it's got perennial cleaning. Look at that. And they've helped they've helpfully included some boobs on the model. This is hilarious. I don't know why. I don't know why this is uh I don't know why this is so funny. Oscillating cleaning, water temperature control, self-cleaning nozzle. Dang, this is one intelligent toilet. Hot water cleaning. Okay, well, I mean, I don't see the big deal, to be honest with you. Whoop, I didn't mean to do that. My apologies. I meant to switch back to this one. How much is it? I don't know. I didn't check. I mean, it'd at least be a couple of thousand, right, for something like that. It's yeah. Yesterday was my breaking point. I left early with a terrible migraine and my phone almost dead at 2% battery. All I wanted was to get inside, take my meds, and rest in a dark room. But our Wi-Fi was down, so the smart lock wouldn't work. My phone died before I could try the backup cellular system he installed. Okay, so uh, I had to sit on our front porch in the sun with my migraine for 2 hours waiting for Alex to return. He had disabled the regular key lock because it was a security vulnerability. I borrowed our neighbor's phone to call him, but he was in meetings with his phone on Do Not Disturb. When he arrived, instead of apologizing, he got excited about adding more backup systems to prevent this from happening again. He completely missed that I don't want more tech solutions. I just want to enter my house without needing an app. This morning made things worse. I couldn't make a coffee because he replaced our normal coffee maker with a fancy smart one that learns our preferences, but needs Wi-Fi to work, which was still down. Even the microwave was unusable because connected to his system. Okay, so why doesn't he just fix the Wi-Fi first off? Like, Wi-Fi isn't hard. Wi-Fi is not hard. Uh, Wi-Fi is just 803.11 protocol. It's very, very easy to fix. It's very, very simple. Um, hmm. Well, I mean, and usually these devices they'll have buttons on them and stuff. Like it's not like the only way they can work. I mean, maybe it is in that case, but I mean, it's kind of weird. And if I was going to make a lock on my door, I would 100% make it a biometric system. Like why you would not have fingerprint or eye retina like reading is completely beyond me. If you're going to go like for security, I don't know. I don't know. Even the microwave is unusable because connected to his system. Yeah, so I snapped. I told him he needs to choose between me or this smart home obsession. I'm done living in a house where I needed tech support just to turn the lights on the lights or use the bathroom. He got defensive, saying I'm being dramatic and should appreciate how he's improving our home. He claims I'm holding back progress. I don't know about that, and this is how all homes will be soon. Here's the thing, I'm a software developer myself, so I understand home automation, but this isn't about convenience anymore. It feels obsessive and controlling. He spent thousands on this system and keeps adding more complicated features. Am I the asshole for giving this ultimatum? Yeah, 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 pretty much. Ultimatums are usually you're always sort of an asshole. for giving an ultimatum. And hey, that may be justified. Like, I'm not going to sort of say, hey, it's unjustified. It's just it rarely leads to a good result in relationships, as far as I'm concerned. That's just my opinion. You can absolutely disagree if you want. That's totally fine. Let me get set up the thing. But I think he's being an asshole as well. He is not listening to what his wife wants in her home. It is her home as well. Like, if you're just going, oh no, you've got to be, have smart everything and do all of this stuff, he's not listening to her. You know what I mean? Like, he is absolutely not listening to her, which is being an asshole as well. Should the wife have issued ultimatum to let's use a weeb term, husbando. Should the waifu have issued ultimatum to husbando? Yes. Look, I am coming down on everybody's the arsehole here. He's not listening to her. She's sort of saying, choose between me and your tech. I don't think that's a particularly good way to solve it either. Because what if he chooses the tech? There's no compromise in there. I don't know. It's very, very strange. It's very, very strange. I don't think I would make my front door or anything a smart feature, to be honest with you. I really wouldn't. Let's go see what the Redditors have to say. Impish Mike says, not the arsehole. Tell him you're taking his lead and replacing him with a vibrator door service. It is ridiculous not to have a failsafe when the tech doesn't work. Oh, that's great. That's fantastic. I like that. Yeah, I'm replacing you with a smart husband. It's called a vibrator, honey. That's basically what I'm doing. Sure. I'm gonna upvote that just because it's hilarious. Yeah. Vibrator. Yeah, that's awesome. I like it. Not the arsehole. This is my actual nightmare. I would make the same ultimatum. Yeah, I just don't think ultimatums are very good. I think that, like, setting a boundary and saying, hey, there will be no more improvement and we've got to get stuff back to this, a way that I feel comfortable in using it. And if he doesn't listen, you can say, well, then I can't live here. If that is the way it's going to be, I can't live here. And, I'm going to have to leave if that is the case. But, ultimatums are necessarily have no compromise in them. And so sort of saying, hey, if this keeps going, and then you can discuss, like, going back to certain technology or not. It's just ultimatums. They have no compromise in them. It is this or that. And it's a difficult place in a relationship to be all of your tech or your wife. Like, that is what she's saying. And okay, yeah, he's probably going to choose his wife. Don't get me wrong. It will probably be effective. But if you are forced into doing something that you don't agree to by threats, you will end up resenting that person. Okay, so yes, you'll probably get your way with an ultimatum. It will cause resentment. Okay, a lot of resentment. Some people coming through with some baller, some long-time supporters. Love them a lot. Hooligan member for 21 months. 21 months? You're amazing. That's crazy. Seems sus. My smart locks don't work like that. Yeah, it does a little bit. Yeah, and I get that. Hey, if the power is down, then the smart stuff doesn't work anymore. It's certainly a concern. So I would not implement purely electronic technology for anything that isn't, or smart technology for anything that isn't purely electronic related, right? So I wouldn't replace door locks necessarily with smart technology. I wouldn't do that because if the power's down, then you can't get into your house, and that's a problem. Okay, that is something to keep in mind. Yes, um, the idea of it is that you replace things like the fridge, the stuff like that. So I don't think I would do it for the toilet either, because you're replacing something that works on one system with something that relies on the power system as well in order to work. It's a bit of a problem, and I get that, but sort of laying down ultimatums, I don't think is the answer. Left-handed Jedi says smart toys for the win. Well, I like smart technology, but and you know, there is a problem with replacing physical stuff with smart technology. If you're looking at vulnerabilities as well, so there is overkill as far as shoring up vulnerabilities in any system is concerned, right? Like Wi-Fi, you could in Wi-Fi use like a password that is insanely complex, would take them trillions of years to break, sure, but that's overkill. Like, you don't need it. You don't need it. There definitely is overkill. It sounds like he's on a we've got to future proof and upgrade everything. I don't see why. But like, you can explain that to somebody. And if they won't listen, maybe you're better off without them. Oh, hello, misinterpretations. Very good to see you. Your actual nightmare. Well, I've had worse nightmares. I got to be honest with you. He is quite incorrect. In fact, more and more people are realizing how insecure smart systems are. For example, keyless entry can be defeated by simply using two phones and syncing them in some cases. Your house is actually less safe than a key lock because of this. Yeah, that's true. But if you're using biometrics, it is very safe. Very safe. When someone actually needs your fingerprint to get in, or your thumbprint, usually it is, it's pretty damn safe. Everything that is smart can be hacked. Yeah, locks can be picked, though. A person can drive by your smart house and get every bit of data stored on all of your machines. No, they can't. What are you talking about? What the hell? They can drive by your smart house and get every bit of data stored on all of your machines. No, they can't. They absolutely cannot. It's because things are encrypted. That is 100% wrong. As a software developer, you should know this. Yeah, she doesn't, because it's not a fucking thing, because all of it has encryption on it. Stop. No. What are you talking about? The more you add to any system, the more vulnerable your system becomes. Okay, yes, kind of. That's a simplification, though. The more complex your system, yes, there are always more opportunities for vulnerabilities. But if you replace one system with another one, it doesn't mean the new one is more vulnerable than the old one. Okay, it just doesn't. Stop. No. And just as you discovered, it doesn't even need to be malicious. Things unplanned for can simply destroy everything. From software bugs to hacks, the smarter your home is, the more likely something is to screw up in a big way. Look, okay, so whoever wrote this has no idea about hacking, because the most effective type of hack, the one that actually succeeds the most, is actually centered around people, right? Getting people to leave vulnerabilities. So, for instance, one of the ones to look out for is if you work in a corporate environment and you come across like a thumb drive in the bathroom, right? It's left in the bathroom of the lobby kind of thing of your building. Do not plug that into anything. Okay, because that is one way they gain access to your system, is literally leaving a physical device somewhere that somebody plugs in behind the firewall in order to access the system. The biggest vulnerability that data centers have is literally of people breaking in, like physically. Okay, there is just because something is protected by electronic security doesn't mean that it's more vulnerable than something physical. Like, this is not the case. I wouldn't even visit your house, much let alone live in it. What the hell? Who is this idiot? Yeah, okay, Reddit. I wouldn't visit your house because the toilet is too much technology for me. It's too much, so much. My old brain can't handle it. I don't know. I think that maybe I understand where the post is coming from. However, that is just silly. No, that's silly. Silly, silly, silly. Not the asshole. His smartphone obsession has gone off the deep end. You are justified. I would tell him that all interactions with you has to be through text until he climbs out of this rabbit's hole. It's no way to live. I don't know why all of them have to be through text. I have no idea. That's actually genius. Not saying I would do it, but that's very tempting. Okay, I don't know how you live with someone and have all interactions through text. Look, this doesn't have like sort of so giving someone the cold shoulder, basically, being vindictive, it doesn't sort out your problems. It doesn't help with anything. It really doesn't. Like just punishing somebody because they won't see your point of view, it's not helpful in a situation. Maybe you should go to couples counseling or marriage counseling, maybe. That might be a way that you can have a neutral party say, "Hey, this is a problem because they feel like this." And obviously she would have an absolute right to feel like her home is being taken away from her because it has these new systems installed. Totally understand. Totally understand. I'm right there with you. But sort of being petty is not the way to preserve a relationship through problems. Okay? It's just not. Tell him the requirements are being changed by the customer and all smart features must be able to be operated manually. Otherwise, you're taking your bills to business elsewhere. Okay, he's not their provider. He's their husband. I don't know how you're taking your business elsewhere. Okay, yeah, and like I said, ultimatums will get people to do what you want. Sure, they're effective. But in the long run, they will breed resentment. And yeah, okay, if you don't care, you don't care. I just personally think that it is not a good idea to lay down ultimatums in that way, all or nothing. It's just a problem that even if you get what you want, whoever you're making the ultimatum to will resent being put in that position. That can cause problems later on. Maybe you can deal with that. Maybe that's fine. Up to you. I personally don't think it's the way to go. So I kind of think everyone's being an asshole here. Can you at least like say to him, "Hey, these are the things I don't mind being smart, and these are the things that are off limits." Let me see. And what have the lovely people out there got to say? Lol, serious first world issue here. Yeah, no, I'll agree with that one. It kind of is a first world issue. Although, not being able to have access to your house, things not working. I guess people all around the world deal with that. I suppose, yeah, smart house is um, smart toilet. Yeah, apparently so. Apparently, yeah. So Billy says can't flush without an app is brutal. Well, there is a way to do it. She just couldn't be bothered asking her husband because she's over this smart technology thing. And I totally get where she's coming from. She's over the whole smart technology and has to ask how to do everything. I get why she'd be upset and not want to ask. But um, and I don't think that's the case. From what I've seen, and to be honest with you, the only time I've used a smart toilet is in Japan when I visited Japan. They've had them for ages. They just have a little remote next to the toilet that does all of it. I had no problems. It was fairly evident what to do. Archer says, I would have a hard time with a toilet and need to flush using my phone. I don't bring my phone to the bathroom because I'm not nasty. Yeah, I don't do that either, Archer. I don't do that either. But I wouldn't, I would not put in a system that would have to use my phone. I suppose, I could I could walk out, grab my phone, and do it. But yeah, it does seem a bit weird. But I'd have no problem with one of the smart toilets that, hey, you just, click a button on the remote and no, I don't care. Jessica says, I once had a FWB. What's a FWB? I don't know what an FWB. Friends with benefits. Gotcha. Who had a smart home. It creeped me out the way she spoke to it. Said, "Hey Google, dim the lights. Hey Google, turn the TV on. Hey Google, turn on radio." Yeah, no, I get that might be annoying. Yeah, I don't think I'd have a problem with it. I'd certainly name it something other than Google, like some name you would never say. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like I would say Google way too often and trigger it all the time. Maybe it has to be Hey Google. That sucks. I don't like saying Hey Google to everything. That's terrible. Absolutely terrible. Misinterpretation says, I don't know of smart items that aren't also manual. Yeah, well, when we say manual, I know of smart items that, like I said, they use electronic devices in order to activate and deactivate them and kind of thing. But, ones that you don't manually do. Yeah, you're right, manual. But even with a manual, remote or something they will have. Yeah, I completely agree. Yeah, that part's cool. No, you've never been hyperbolic, you hooligan. You take that back. You've never been hyperbolic. How dare you? Um, oh yeah, left-handed Jedi. She doesn't know how to use the she shells. Lol, Demolition Man reference, which was actually a pretty good movie and has some um, if you've never seen that movie, it's actually not bad. Wesley Snipes, Sylvester Stallone, of course. It doesn't have that comedian in it that's just terrible. But yeah, it definitely is a good movie. She doesn't and sort of um like he goes into the toilet and there's these three seashells and like all of the people from the future. Yeah, good stuff. I love it. I've totally forgot about that Jedi. Yeah. Billy says the French call it a bidet. Yeah, the French would. That's exactly what they would do. Technically, that is what it is. Yeah. Yeah, Holigan says, I really don't think she meant she actually needed to use an app to use the toilet. Yeah, no, she needs to use an app to flush the toilet is what she's talking about. So to use it properly. To use it properly. Deviant says, I mean, depending on the circumstance, at some point there's no change. It's going to end up in an ultimatum. Correct, yeah. Well, yeah. Otherwise, you'd stay with someone you want to divorce forever and ever. I get what you're saying, Mark, but I can't help but think sometimes divorce is all that's left, and it's okay to say, if you keep your second family on the side, I'll leave you. If you do what I want, leave the other family and go into couple therapy with me, I'll stay with you. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And that's where sort of standing by those boundaries. And I agree with you. Sometimes it does come down to they do choose, but it's that first up ultimatum that is the problem. I totally get that. Um, yeah, and yeah, no, I get you. I get you. Um, to be honest with you, if someone had a family on the side, if my wife had a family, I probably wouldn't be staying with them. I probably wouldn't be giving that ultimatum. I'd just be leaving. I don't, with that kind of example. I know what you mean, though. Sometimes it does come down to, well, if you're not going to compromise with me, I'm going to leave. And I get that. I totally understand it. Yeah. Billy says, I'm all for tech, but this is starting to sound like Black Mirror. She's growing on me. Yeah, Black Mirror bullshit. Okay. Well, yeah, I get what you're saying. It does sound a bit extreme. Yeah. Yeah, it does. That's why I'm sort of saying, well, everybody's sort of there. Everybody's an asshole here. Um, Holly says, I think part of the problem is replacing appliance without talking to her. If she's just waking up to stuff not working. Yeah. And it is sort of a latent misogyny that some guys feel like, oh, it is the guy's responsibility to do this, that, and the other, and they're in charge of all the appliances. They can do whatever they want as far as the home improvement or handyman stuff around the home without talking to anybody, right? Um, I'm really proud of myself. I fixed a tap. Like, my tap had actually, it corroded a bit, so wanted to replace it. And look, I am the biggest non-handyman ever. I gotta say, I do not understand plumbing or electrics, or electrics a little bit, but not really. Sort of how to do complex stuff. But I actually replaced that tap by going and buying another one. And of course, I asked my wife and went with my wife to choose the tap. Of course, I asked for her input. It's her kitchen too. I mean, I do a lot of cooking. She does, a lot of cooking. Of course, I asked for her input. But if she just came home to me choosing whatever that we wanted, and no, before you ask, it was not a smart tap. Okay, is there such a thing? Is there a smart faucet? Touchless bathroom taps, sensor taps are a thing. Yeah, no, that's what I'm talking about. But look, smart suggests that it is hooked up to some kind of network. Um, Smart taps work by utilizing various sensors and technologies to detect user behavior and adjust the water flow accordingly. Wow, all right. Yeah, no, but some men think, hey, it's my prerogative to choose whatever I want, and it's like, why? It's her home too. It is her home too. What? Right, where are the buttons? Yeah, usually they do have buttons. I don't understand this. Um, what about the event of an outage? Well, you would hopefully have some kind of power supply. I can't remember what the name of it is. Uh, UPS. It is a UPS. Okay, and that is not a delivery system. I know the Americans are like, wait, they deliver packages. No, not that UPS. UPS is an uninterrupted power supply. It is basically a big ass battery that is designed to hold charge. So you have emergency generators, right? Like, you have emergency generators, and what they are is they will kick in and fire up and generate power. A UPS isn't that. It's basically just a big ass battery which holds charge, and when you lose charge, it provides sort of an emergency voltage through to just essential systems. Um, a funny story. I once worked in a building. They were installing a UPS. I found out about this because it was a rather large network, and they were running certain systems that required a lot of power. So I came down, and the UPS for like a big corporate structure is going to be a refrigerator sized battery. Like, it's going to be a system you install. But I came down on a lift, and there was like about three workmen standing around looking sheepish. Um, this UPS inside of one of the elevators that dropped about 3 or 4 feet into the floor, and this is on ground level, right? So it had dropped to the very bottom and was sitting with this big box UPS there, because they hadn't actually checked the weight of it when they put it in the elevator. So I don't know. I'd love to have seen the security footage of these guys putting this thing in the elevator, and then the elevator just dropping into the floor, because damn, what are you doing? Like, that is not something you put into a normal elevator. Like, holy crap. So yeah, that's a UPS. So that's what you would do, is have a UPS and hook it only up to those systems which are essential, right? Like your locks, like your toilet, like the things that aren't electronic. Because powering something like a heater with UPS, you'd run out of battery way too fast. like it isn't essential kind of thing. Yeah. Once again, the Internet of Things is nothing but a dystopian nightmare. Not true. Not true. I don't believe that, Jessica. I think that it can be incredibly useful and incredibly bad at the same time. I think it's like any technology. You might as well point out car crashes and saying, hey, cars are incredibly destructive and terrible dystopian nightmare. Well, yeah, they can be. A person stealing a car and going on a rampage is absolutely awful, but it's also very good for society as well. So it is a mixed thing. It definitely is a mixed thing. I think that things like, pet cams where people can keep an eye on their pets when they're away from their home is an amazing thing. That is Internet of Things. Feeders for their pet, that they can feed their pets and not have them, just go hungry, or feed them treats, or just hear the sound of their voice. It's a wonderful thing. There's other things which are fantastic. But this obviously is out of control, just like the person stealing a car and driving it through the thing is out of control. I know he is a tech bro, says Andrew Christopherson. Never the arsehole when dealing with tech bros, lol. Yeah, well, I mean, there are tech bros, sure. Yeah, Hooligan says, I don't believe these systems are 100% Wi-Fi dependent. Also, many people say Wi-Fi when they actually mean internet. She's being dramatic, but her husband also isn't listening to her. Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, so the difference between Wi-Fi is just a local area connection. It's a local system, whereas the internet is a wide area system. It's basically, well, it's a combination of a lot of wide area systems. A lot of providers and a lot of other networks are put together to form the internet. When people say, "Hey, the Wi-Fi is down," sometimes they mean the internet is down. I get you, but she may the only way she may know how to open that thing is through Wi-Fi, and if the Wi-Fi is down, the internet will also be down for all local devices using the Wi-Fi, because um, you you some devices, the only way to connect them up is via Wi-Fi, and that is annoying and I believe terrible. And I think that everything should have a wired connection as a backup, like um, 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 Ethernet as a backup, say, or something like it as a backup. I think cat cable, basically. Thinking machines will doom us all, or doom us all, right? Am I right? Lol, Skynet. That or Orange. Okay, okay. Holly says, I don't know how to feel about this because it sounds like it's been building up for a while. Absolutely. Yeah, you're right. And he's not listening to her, which is a problem. Don't get me wrong. As far as arseholery goes, he's been way worse. I'll put it that way. I think that giving an ultimatum is kind of, yeah, it's a bit of an arseholery thing to do. But if you wanted me to rate them, he is being way more, because he's not even listening to her how she wants to live in her house, which is terrible. Notice me, senpai. I noticed you, left-handed Jedi. I notice you. I do. I'm going not the arsehole. You're holding back progress is a horror movie grab. Yeah. Oh, no, that's fine. That's fine. Look, I think that, yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe it is not the arsehole because he's just definitely not giving her any choice. Maybe you're correct. And maybe Deviant's correct when she says, well, not if the issue is the Wi-Fi is on part of the provider. Well, no, the provider doesn't give you Wi-Fi. I've had issues with an internet connection because some construction worker somewhere in town dug through the cable. No. You're misunderstanding, Deviant. So she's trying to connect to the local area network, the one that is being broadcast from her router. So Wi-Fi, or 803.11 protocol, is basically the router providing a Wi-Fi network. So she's standing outside of her door. She should be able to reach the Wi-Fi. She can't. It's got nothing to do with the provider. It's downstream of the provider. I know she said Wi-Fi, not internet connection, but I'm not trusting her ability to know or care about the difference. No, she's right. She's talking about the local network. That's why she said, oh, she couldn't have a coffee because the Wi-Fi network's down. I get that. Jessica says, I recently had a conversation with a fellow writer about the different word processing softwares. I proclaimed that if it was physically feasible, I would just use a typewriter instead of a laptop. Okay, I'm not with you on that one, Jessica. I really am not. I've used a typewriter in my youth, did not enjoy it. I really didn't. Sorry, I must be a tech bro. Don't shoot me. But I will say, you have a right to do whatever you feel is good for you in your home. So I will say that, Jessica, absolutely. Aunt Jess says, I don't think an ultimatum, at least in this instance, is a problem. She's uncomfortable living in this home. She hates it. You can't expect someone to live somewhere they hate just to save relationship. Yeah, no, I don't expect her to. I don't expect her to. I'm just saying the all or nothing thing is it can be problematic. It really can. Just because like I keep saying, that resentment, he will resent her, and that will cause problems. It isn't great that he isn't listening to her. Don't get me wrong, but him resenting her is not the solution either. They need to work on an understanding. And if they can't communicate and come to an understanding, what are they doing in a relationship? Like, if you can't talk and say, hey, how do you want to live? Understand that and get to an understanding between you. Why are you even in that relationship? It's horrible. No, I got you, Jess. I got you. Majestic Beck says dildo that only works on Wi-Fi. I think I have that already. You know what? I have seen some things on like sex toys that can be controlled by somebody else, kind of thing. Left-handed Jedi says his name is Bob, battery operated boyfriend. Yeah, it's Bob. It's Bob. Okay, gotcha. Oh, look, whatever floats your boat as far as I'm concerned. Whatever you're happy with. Misinterpretation says maybe she should buy manual items that are manual and out them right by the smart ones. Okay, yeah, put them right by the smart ones. Gotcha. Yep. Meaning 2 coffee makers, 2 microwaves. Yeah, sure. I think that, and if the conversation comes up of, oh, why do we have 2 of everything? Well, I don't like using that one. And here's the thing, if you don't like something, you don't really have to justify it to your partner. You can just not like what you don't like. You don't have to sort of go, oh, well, here's my rationalization for not liking having to use my. You can just say you don't like it. I like using this one better. If Jessica, for instance, if she likes using a typewriter rather than a word processor, she doesn't have to justify that. She owes nobody any explanation for why what she likes is what she likes. She can just go, well, I just like it. And that should be enough. That is enough. I always jokingly, and I want to say very jokingly, hassle my wife's upset, like she likes Apple products. I hate Apple products, but she doesn't have to justify why she likes them. She doesn't owe me that. If she likes something, she likes something. That's enough. I like other things. I don't have to justify it either. I just like them. This whole thing about having to justify like personal likes and dislikes, why? You can just like something. I like the feel of it. I like the way that it makes me feel when I use it. Get over it. That's what you like. That's what you like. You don't have to make other people, you don't owe them some kind of massive explanation. Part of me is wondering why she likes this guy. Like, why do you like this man who's just, cyborging your house? Like, you like him because you like him. You don't have to explain why. So Yahooligan says my smart lock uses RF and battery, so Wi-Fi and power wouldn't affect anything. Yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah, unless the battery runs out, but, it would alert you that the battery's low before that, so, yeah, I know where you're coming from, you hooligan, and that's reasonable. That is reasonable. Deviant Outcast says, "Yeah, hooligan, I agree, but it seems sus. At the same time, modern cars don't have an outside lock. They have an electric blip bloppy thing that opens the lock when you get near." Yeah, I've never really liked those, to be honest with you. I've never really liked those at all. I do like the ones with the fingerprint sensor though. Like seriously, those are cool. Um, yeah, there's a key hidden. Yeah. I have no idea how a smart door would work. I prefer to be the more intelligent one between myself and most building components and even appliances. Yeah, but I mean, I'm sitting on a computer that can do all kinds of stuff that I can't do, Debian. This computer, if you're taking the ability to process, this computer is smarter than I am. Let's face it. I can't work out pi to billions of values. Uh, what can I say? Uh, I don't know how you feel about that, but it, you know, technology does improve our lives. It's just important to know where it improves your life and where it is taking away from your life. That's important too. And I'm not saying that hey, we should implement all technology because it'll all improve. No, I'm not saying that. It's just that computers, smart technology, Internet of Things, it can vastly improve our life as long as we're making improvements and not just doing it like this for the sake of doing it. I get you. Um, My door lock is ancient tech. Iron bar. Iron bar. Yeah, well, good luck to if it works for you, it works for you. I don't have a problem with it. Misinterpretation says I'll just buy another manual item and put it right. But oh yeah, yeah. I think I read that already. I'm sorry. Did you put that twice or is it me? Oh, you did put it twice, or it came up twice. Yeah, I get you. Get you. Well, you're talking about duplicate items, so you made duplicate comments. That's fair enough. That's fair enough. Jessica says, "This sounds like just like my parents' marriage. My dad kept imposing changes onto the household without consulting my mum because he believed he knew what was best for us." My parents were maybe a bit different, but for equally worse reasons. That my dad really didn't care about what was in the household, and my mum would try and engage him and get him to sort of have opinions on what kind of things that they did in the house, and he just didn't really care. Like just emotionally unavailable. So totally different. But I mean, I enjoy going out. I enjoyed going out and shopping for a new tap with Lynn, my wife. I really enjoyed it, and you know, um, I was like, oh, I like this one, and she's like, well, that's the same brand as the last one, and that didn't last that long. So, I probably would have chosen a bad one if left to my own devices, quite frankly. And I don't see the problem. What's the problem here with you know going and talking about stuff and saying, hey, I think this. Wow. It's fine, Miss Intro. Don't worry about it. It's all good. It's all good. Holly said, "I'm still stuck at how he's upgrading things when he wants and doesn't. She doesn't even seem to be concerned about it." Yeah, that's what I'm stuck on. Yeah, I currently have a migraine and thought of trying to figure out a new appliance. While in post drome seems overwhelming. Yeah, no, I gotcha. I gotcha. Yeah, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Hooligan says, I once played my dad's 5 remote with one high-end universal one, and he never could get the hang of it. I had to give him back his 5 remotes. Yeah, that's fair. Oh, Ember, how you doing? How you doing? I hope you had a fantastic time at the ARC protest. I played like the first like 10 seconds of your speech, and I thought, hang on, I'm not going to play all of it. That's taking watch time. So go to Embers, and I'm gonna put up the channel as well again because the speech started. Well, I'm sure it was fantastic. I'm sure it was absolutely fantastic. Um, love that you got to stand up and shout at the religious nutterbutters that are currently making life very, very problematic for everybody. So go to bed at Ember. I think it's. Do you know if Ember, if you're there, do you know when it comes out of member status at all? It's okay if you haven't scheduled it to come out yet. That's fine. But I'd love for people to see it. Ember in the house. When I get an ultimatum, I tend to create my own third option. But if I have to pick, it's the least favorable one. It's the one least favorable to the person making me pick. Yeah, and that's one of the problems with ultimatums. That sometimes people will, out of resentment, just choose the option that inconveniences the other person the most, even if it's not particularly what they want to do. That is definitely something that happens. Aren't you? Hey Google, create romantic atmosphere. Hey Google, play some sexy music. You asked to play some sexy music. Just aren't you? Taco Bell won the fast food, but yeah, that's Demolition Man as well. Yeah, and it's Atheum. No, you told me this before. Atheum? I can't remember. You told me the pronunciation before. I feel so terrible. Athium. Athium? I triggered Denver's Google Assistant. Oh, that's one. I'm sorry, but welcome to the future. Welcome to the world of tomorrow. You're going to get it now, Ember. Hey, Google, activate eye condom. Hey, Google, activate safety needle. Wow, okay. Now that's a bad night. Aethium. 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 Gotcha. Aethium. Aethium. I don't fucking know. That's me either. That's okay. I'll do my best. Been lied to. Okay, so now we're just arguing about cars. Okay. Jessica the Transmitter Alchemist, the Simpsons Halloween episode from 2001, The House of Wax, where the family get a robotic demonic house system. Demotic? Domotic. Is that an actual word or is that a mistype? Don't know that one. Oh, it's demotics. Okay. Robot technology for use in the home. Okay, I did not know that word. Wow, interesting. Demotic. Voiced by Pierce Brosnan that tries to kill Homer and take his place in Marge. Yeah, I vaguely remember that one. Holly says, I think it's more that not everything needs to be smart. No, I don't think so either. I think that some things are really good when, like, smart fridges are fantastic that you can sort of, make lists, order foods, stuff like that just from the fridge. It's just incredible. But I get what you mean. Not everything does. I'm right there with you. Left-handed Jedi says, in my opinion, too much of anything is bad. Yeah, probably. Majestic Beck says he is all nerded out and she is all, what have I done? Majestical says, I had a Very that was remote control depending, broke the damn remote and VCR was useless. Lesson learned. Oh, VCR? Gotcha. Yep. VCR. Yeah, spell check has gone beyond control. It's out of control, Archer. Get rid of spell checker. Get rid of spell checker. You imagine that if you had no spell checker? You imagine the stuff that would be typed out by people? Oof. Your hooligan said that I don't miss having to write 3 or 4 drafts before using a typewriter to type my paper out. That's short. Yeah, I gotcha. I gotcha. You met a girl from New York, gave me the code to control her remote vibrating undies. Yeah, okay, that's hey, whatever you're into, that's fine. That's fine. I use a French press for coffee, manual all the way. Yeah, I pour over coffee for you. All right, we're getting a coffee fight break out in the chat. Jessica, the Transmetal Alchemist. This is a Microsoft family, young lady. We already bought Microsoft, and we'll always buy Microsoft. Do you take that iPod back to the store and place it with the Microsoft alternative? No, I'm at heart. I am a Linux boy. At heart, I am a Linux boy. But gaming Microsoft because Windows has all the games. So that's why I use a Windows system because it is the more versatile. Not the more versatile, it is the more ubiquitous. It's what everybody uses. It's got the most games. It's got the most applications on it. But for if you want to rate me as the best system, I'm Linux all the way. It's miles better than anything else out there. Deviant Outcast says, yeah, but it's not smart enough to keep going if you turn it off. If it messes with you, all you need to do is turn it off. Now he's a smart one, eh? Well, yeah, this is true. Oh, we've had a super chat. Your hooligan for $2 Canadian. This episode of AIMBOT is sponsored by Smart Products. Smart Products for when you're dumb and need something smart. For when you couldn't be bothered thinking about the little things in your life. You have a full video up soon? Oh, awesome. Love it. Okay, fantastic. So go and check out Ember. I put the links in there, and check out the speech she did over on at the ARC protest. Yeah, Ember is fantastic and fabulous. You are right. You're both right. Triggered the Google Assistant. Oh dear. Did your Google create a romantic atmosphere? That would have been hilarious. I yelled, "Woo!" Yeah, absolutely. No, I get you. And Deviant, I get it. Like I would have loved to be there and supported everybody. Like that's what I mean. Like when I said sometimes I feel really distant from everybody. So, I love that you're here. I love that I can spend time with you, and that I'd love to make it over there. It is a long way. It's very expensive. There's a few reasons why it'd be very difficult to do, but hopefully maybe at some point in the future I'd like to maybe. Okay, so that is that one, and let's see how the poll went. Yeah, everyone's terrible. Yeah, kind of. But no, if we want to rate, obviously there's not stuff for how terrible it is. That guy, he's got to start listening to his partner and the woman in his life. If you've been married for 5 years and you can't even listen to, hey, I feel upset because at this thing you're doing to my house. Look, you probably need marriage counseling or relationship counseling. Like seriously, you need to start listening. My guy, you need to start listening. I These boys and their toys, right? Right. After you vote, make sure don't listen to Yahooligan. He's a Canadian. He's been known to prevaricate. I will do one more. It's great hanging out with you. I really think so. But I'm going to do one more just for the. I heard somebody say the other day it was guys and gals and non-binary pals, and I thought that was lovely. I thought that was a lovely thing to say for the guys and gals and non-binary pals. Wonderful. Okay, so snake skinking. Snake skin king? Okay, this could go either way. Is that snake skinking or snake skin king? I feel like I'm trying to pronounce atheum all over again. I feel like I'm like yes. I just said yes. It is both. I feel like it's going to be snake skin king. Anyway. Am I the arsehole if I don't feel bad for my mum? Context. I am a transgender man. Well, let's not read that. If I don't feel bad for my mum. No, depending on what she did. Like, let's face it. Snakes kinking? Okay, I didn't even see that one. Oh, it's deleted? It was deleted by the person who originally did it. Oh, hopefully they didn't get picked on because I saw... Wait. It's here? Lock post new part. But it's still got it here. Did you want to do it? Well, if they deleted it, I want to respect them. I mean, if they deleted it, I want to respect them and not, like, this is about consensual and solicited judgment. If they deleted it, I don't feel it's right to do it because they don't want it seen. So I don't feel like that's a good idea. So this is consensual and solicited judgment. Okay, we don't judge people that don't want to be judged. Okay, that's not what we do. That's not cool. Organic Wind 2276 Aqua. Oh, that was a smart home one. Wait, did it mix them all up? Wait, that's twice? It's on twice? Why is this on twice? I'm interested now. Why is this on twice? Was it maybe a fake post? Why is this on twice? Oh, no, that's the one that I did. How very weird. It's come up twice. Okay. Infamous Wave 9878 says, am I the arsehole 27 female for yelling at my boyfriend 27 male for touching my face? Yes. Or no? Hang on a sec. Do you have a right to yell at him? Yeah. Yeah. If you don't want him touching your face, he shouldn't touch your face. That's fine. That's fine. Like, yeah, if it genuinely does upset you, yes. Yeah. You know what? Lynn touches my face as well. In fact, she was touching my face the other day and accidentally put her jumper sleeve in my mouth. And I thought it was hilarious. And so did she. And we laughed about it. And it was really, really, it was funny. She likes my face. I like her face. I do. But yeah, no, you have a right to not be touched wherever you don't. It's been removed by the moderators? Why? This post has been removed by the moderators? Screw you, moderators. No, I'm gonna do this. Do not skim. Okay, well, that wasn't removed by the original author. It was removed by the moderators. I wonder why. Is it maybe like because it's a fake one? Is that... Okay, I'm going to do this anyway. My boyfriend has a really annoying habit of running his palm down my face. It's always his open palm down my whole face. Okay, that's a bit weird. That is a bit weird. The first couple of times it happened, I told him I don't like it and to stop, but he kept doing it. I like to do fancy makeup and will spend 1 to 2 hours in the bathroom doing my makeup. It's a hobby that I enjoy and I like to think of it as art. Yeah, well, that's fair enough. I mean, I'm not huge into makeup, but some makeup is artistic, right? Like it actually is. I totally understand that. Every time he runs his hand down my face, it messes up all of my makeup. It will leave spots where my foundation had been wiped off by his hand or spots where my lipstick has smeared. Why would you do that to someone in makeup? I don't understand. I don't get it. What is that? Like if someone's got makeup on? I would be more concerned with like, well, apart from that she doesn't like it, even if she did like it, I'd be like, yeah, I don't want your makeup on my hand. Is this just me? Does he like the feeling of makeup? What? Or just wipes off my eyeshadow, whatever his hand hit when he wiped at my face. Well, he did it again today after I'd spent an hour in the bathroom getting ready to go out, presumably to get out. I started screaming, "Stop! I've told you so many times I don't like it when you do that and you need to stop." He got all pouty and started acting like I'm an arsehole for screaming. What the hell is wrong with these people? What is wrong with this man? Like, she tells you to stop, you keep doing it, she yells at you, you go, "Why are you being an arsehole?" I've literally tried to tell him to stop in a million different ways and he doesn't listen. Additionally, he doesn't wash his hands all the way, which grosses me out. I don't want germy, poopy hands. Okay, that's just all right. So I get why the moderators probably removed it. And yeah, he's a total asshole. Like seriously. Look, I mean, okay, so guys will know, and I'd say they'd back me up. Maybe they wouldn't back me up, but I tell you what, the amount of guys that when you're in like a public restroom, like you're at the airport or something, public restroom, and the amount of guys that don't wash their hands after they use the toilet is quite frankly disturbing. It is really, really disturbing. And, I think that it is absolutely disgusting. Um, you know, Especially when it's something like a restaurant. You're at a restaurant men's room and you just see somebody like, you're going to the toilet, you go to the toilet and, somebody comes in after you, you go to wash their hands, they're finishing going to the toilet, and then they walk out before you and you're at the sink going, that's that's horrifying. Like, you're at a restroom in a restaurant and you're like, you're going to go back and eat now. What the actual fuck? Like, seriously. Was the poster right for screaming at 27 male boyfriend? It's just, it takes like no time at all. It's good hygiene. I don't understand it. It's absolutely disgusting. I think it's just gross, quite frankly. It's just gross, like seriously. I mean, look, I use soap when I wash my hands. I do use soap. I wouldn't die on that hill, but please at least, scrub your hands with some water. Like, come on, bare minimum, peeps. Come on. Like, yeah, it's probably better if you did, go the whole hog. But if you don't, I'm not going to be overly judgmental. But walking out, just no, 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 no. That's gross. That is actually gross. Okay, let's see what the Redditors have to say. Not the asshole. Is it possible that he's intentionally messing up your makeup? Possibly. I mean, that's possible, right? Why would you want to do that though? Like, that's horrible. Oh, there's only one comment. All right. Well, that's just one comment. Uh yeah, I no touching without consent. Yeah, I absolutely agree. Yes. Well, you know what? I think that you know what I mean? Like, I might tickle Lynn upon occasion, right? Like, I just tickle her upon occasion because, um, I like the sound of her giggle. I like the sound of her giggle, but she's okay with it. She's fine with it. If she had an actual problem with it, I would absolutely stop. Like, if she said, "Hey, I don't like that," I would absolutely stop. You know, but it's not like I hold her down and do it like continuously. Occasionally, I'll just come up behind her and like tickle her, kind of thing, for 2 seconds. Okay, just do it, and you know, because I like to hear her giggle. But if she had a problem with it, I'd absolutely not do that. Absolutely. That face palm move is I'm not 100% sure that is what they're talking about. That sounds like something my brother did to me when teenagers. Okay, that's weird. That's weird. I give my girlfriend Andrew says, "I give my girlfriend, when I have one complete consent on me unless I say otherwise for a particular reason for the moment, but I've had a partner and she is the only one I'll bend a knee until she loses it." Okay, yeah. Divorce immediately. Yeah. I am staying single for I don't think this is the representative experience of most relationships, Ember. I really don't think so, if that is what you're trying to say. Um, you poop yeah, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Uh, I'd say kick the nads. All right, you may be talking about something else. Okay, I'm not 100% sure I want to read what radishing is. Uh Isn't that what they did to horses to make them run faster, is put ginger where the sun don't shine? Okay, chat, you're out of control, and I love it. That's fine. Yeah, that's where I'm at, Emma. Not by completely by choice, but completely by circumstances. That's sad. I'm sorry. Jessica says that scene from Seinfeld where Jerry goes to the bathroom alongside the father of the woman he's currently dating, who's the chef at a popular restaurant, and Jerry sees him not wash his hands. Right, right, right. But, you know, usually chefs and other professionals are professional about it. They clean their fucking hands because they realize that, hey, if you know, all of the people I make food for get sick, there's going to be a lot of fingers pointed in my direction, and it's not going to look good on your resume. So, you know, usually chefs do understand that. But yeah, I mean, it's Seinfeld. Um, Majestic Beck says, I had to teach my male employees about washing their hands after using the restroom. Wow. Yeah, yeah. This is why we can't have nice things, says Ember. Yeah, it kind of is. Yeah. Lee Holding says, time, place for everything. If your hands are clean, time permits, and you're reporting as a funny prank, fair game. But if your hands are dirty or if you're in a rush, please get lost. That's fair. That's fair. If it's just a prank to make people go, oh, he didn't wash his hands, okay. I don't really get pranks anyway. You know, like that's just weird. Misinterpreted. No one has permission to tickle me. You'll be punched. No, that's fair. That's fair. Look, if Lynn hated it, I would stop it. Absolutely, absolutely. But then again, I mean, she does like rub her hands on my face because she likes it. So, and if I had a problem with that, she'd stop it. It's that communication, right? That's always missing. And you communicate quite well. Yes. If you tickle me, I'll punch you in the face. Understood. Understood. Wash your hands, you filthy bugger. Hey, Sterling Nash, welcome. Welcome to the party, pal. It's been Demolition Man and radishes all the way down. It's been wild. It's been wild. Whoa, got heavy. Yeah, yeah, it kind of did get heavy. Yeah. Hello, Jeff. Hello, Jeff. Toilet tangents? Well, you know, we went off on a sink tangent that I fixed a faucet. Look, I'm really proud of that. Okay, I have never fixed any plumbing before because I am, um, you know, maybe I'm a pseudo man that doesn't do manly things. Look, I fix the internet, I fix Wi-Fi, I fix networks. I don't fix plumbing, but I did it and it was great and it works fantastic. Looks great. We're both happy with it. I'm very proud. I mean, it's not much to some people. It'd be like somebody that's barely computer literate fixing their Wi-Fi. Okay, that's how proud I am. Archer says they say to sing happy birthday while washing your hands to make sure you're washing for long enough. I'm more of a Bohemian Rhapsody hand washer. I wash my hands like I'm going in for surgery. Yeah, I think I've been there. Like if I'm going, yeah. I get where you're coming from. If I'm like going to the toilet and then I know I'm going to cook afterwards, then yeah, I'm scrubbing down my hands. Clean my hands like crazy when I'm cooking. Yeah. I know what you mean. Exactly. Yeah, I know what you mean. It depends what you're doing afterwards. I mean, if I'm like, going off to do something manual afterwards, I may not wash them. I'd still wash them though. To me, it's automatic now. Like, I mean, it's just habit. That's all it is. I don't think I could go to the toilet and then just wander out somewhere. In fact, the only time I know that I've gone to the toilet and not washed my hands is when I'm having a shower afterwards. Like when I'm actually, having a shower afterwards. It's just like, well, I'm going to be cleaning them anyway. I probably don't need to wash my hands, then go to the shower. But that's about the only time I can remember. Yeah, so let's see how the poll did on that one. I realized there wasn't a lot of Reddit comments, but Reddit comments aren't. Yeah, poster is fantastic. Absolutely, absolutely. Everyone is fantastic. Okay, well, there's a non-hand washer out there. Look, your choice. Please don't touch me with those things, though. And everyone is terrible. Okay. I feel like some people didn't get the whole non-hand washing story. Okay. So that was another edition of AIMBOT. My camera's gone a bit screwy. Don't forget to show Ember some love because I really want to. We did a sample of her speech. The rest is just amazing. So go and show some love. Just 1 second. I have to switch. There we go. Okay. But yeah, I think that for most of them, it was pretty. I think we were all in agreement on what they were, which is disturbing a little. But yeah, I think that for all of them, again, communication is key, and allowing others to have their own opinions. I think the last two, the one about hands on the face and the one about the smart home, you know, you don't have to agree with someone in order to listen to them and acknowledge what they want, right? So the first one with the smart home, the person wasn't even listening to what she wanted. Not even taking it in. Like you can sit there and go, okay, well, I understand X, Y, and Z. I disagree because of that. You don't have to be so dismissive. You can disagree. You can also come up with compromises. And if you can't do that, if you can't seem to find compromises, having a neutral party to say, hey, I'll listen to both of you and suggest stuff and see if you can work it out between you, a professional to do that is a good idea. But you'll probably find if you start explaining things in a way of, no, not we've got to do this because if we don't do this, you are just, a Luddite or something. A Luddite is somebody that hates technology, that kind of thing. When you say, hey, I really feel like we should do this because this is the benefit we get out of it, and this is why I feel that way, is a lot more constructive than just dismissing somebody. And in this case, it's, both guys dismissing the girl. And we see a lot of that in misogyny. I was talking to Maya the other day that we see a lot of misogyny even in the atheist community, where I've seen it myself. Women just talked over the top of because they don't, they couldn't possibly have a decent idea of things and just interrupted in the middle of them. Hell, that guy Andrew Wilson, he's made a career of it, just interrupting women halfway through what they're saying. He doesn't actually have any comebacks. He just interrupts them and talks over the top of them. It's not actually the way to go. And I've seen it all the time. Like, we've got to be cognizant that people deserve to be heard, even though you may disagree with what they've got to say, and trying to get that across. Now, maybe in some cases, if something's hate speech, if something is, particularly egregious and will cause harm, I get you. They don't need to be heard. But just somebody with a different opinion on whether smart devices are good or whether, you know, that they don't like being touched. I mean, come on, hear them out. Hear them out. And that's part of being kind to another person. You don't have to agree with them. Just hear them out. Unless it is, particularly harmful speech. And I get why we don't want to, listen to somebody telling us why, a certain race shouldn't be given rights or something like that. I totally understand that. But if it's just about personal preference, I don't see the harm. I don't see the harm. Anyway, and welcome, Titan. You've come in right at the tail end, but thank you so much for joining me. It's been a blast. Don't forget to like. If you did like any of the stuff, if you did like hearing me talk, or you did like any of the situations, or if you liked contributing to your opinion on whether what's right and wrong, do give a like and subscribe. Share if you want to. I will not stop you. I will let you do that, for I am magnanimous. Thank you so much, everybody. This has been a blast. Be kind to yourself. Yeah, you don't have to give ultimatums, but you can stand by boundaries and say, hey, this has to change because, I cannot live in a place that is like this. That is a boundary of mine. Be kind to yourself that you deserve to live in a place where you're happy, live in a place where you're comfortable, live in a place where somebody else actually pays the rent is a really good idea. Be kind to yourself. Be kind to each other. And I'll see you in the next one.